Zara Nightwind had exactly 17 minutes to inhale her lunch before the afternoon briefing, and the ship's cafeteria was packed with off-duty crew members who apparently had nothing better to do than discuss last night's holodrama at maximum volume. She clutched her thermal container of synthetic pasta and weaved through the chaos, searching for somewhere anywhere quiet, enough to eat without developing a migraine. The artifact storage bay wasn't technically off-limits to junior xenarchaeologists. Technically, the door scanner accepted her clearance with a cheerful beep, and Zara slipped inside, grateful for the blessed silence. Row upon row of containment units hummed softly, each holding some priceless relic from humanity's expansion across the galaxy. Perfect. She spotted what looked like a bench near the back wall, smooth, dark metal with subtle blue veins running through it. A bit fancy for ship furniture, but who was she to judge the interior decorator's choices? Zara settled onto the surface with a relieved sigh and popped open her lunch container. The first bite of pasta was interrupted by a strange tingling sensation, like sitting on a mild electrical current. She shifted uncomfortably, wondering if the bench had some kind of massage function. The tingling intensified, spreading up her spine and into her skull. "That's weird," she muttered, then froze as her own voice echoed back to her, not through her ears, but directly into her mind. The pasta container slipped from her fingers, clattering to the floor as waves of sensation crashed through her nervous system. The bench beneath her wasn't a bench at all. It was pulsing now, the blue veins glowing brighter with each heartbeat. Ancient symbols flickered across its surface, and Zara realized with growing horror that she was sitting on a quantum resonance device, one of the most dangerous artifacts in the collection. She tried to stand, but her muscles wouldn't obey. The device was pulling her consciousness deeper, interfacing with her neural pathways in ways that definitely weren't covered in her xenarchaeology training. Images flashed through her mind, distant stars, alien cities, thoughts that weren't her own. "Hello, young one." The voice in her head was warm, ancient, infinitely patient. "Do not fear. We have been waiting." Waiting for what? She whispered, though she wasn't sure if she spoke aloud or just thought it. "For someone like you. Someone who can bridge the spaces between minds." The storage bay door hissed open, and Zara's heart nearly stopped. Dex Torian, the ship's chief of security, stood in the doorway with his usual expression of mild annoyance. His dark eyes took in the scene, the scattered pasta, the glowing artifact, and Zara sitting frozen on top of humanity's most valuable archaeological find. "Well," he said after a long moment, "this is new." Zara felt tears of panic prick her eyes. "Don't tell Commander Voss." She blurted, "Please, I swear. I didn't mean to. I thought it was a bench. I was just trying to find somewhere quiet to eat lunch and breathe," Dex interrupted, stepping closer. His voice was surprisingly gentle for someone who'd made grown pirates cry. "Are you hurt?" "I don't think so. Maybe. I can hear thoughts that aren't mine." She laughed shakily. "Oh, God, that sounds insane, doesn't it?" Dex studied the artifact beneath her, noting how its glow had synchronized with her breathing. "Can you move?" Zara concentrated, managing to shift slightly. The device's light pulsed brighter. "It's like it's attached to me somehow. Not physically, but ... She pressed a hand to her temple. "It's in my head, Dex. I can feel it thinking." "What's it thinking about?" "Connection. Unity. Something about bringing species together." Her eyes widened. "And something about the Helix Coalition. They're coming, aren't they?" "The diplomatic mission?" Dex's jaw tightened. The Helix Coalition's arrival was classified. Information known only to senior staff. "How do you know about that?" "I don't know. The artifact does." Zara gripped the edge of the device, panic rising in her voice. "They're going to want this back, aren't they? And when they find out some clumsy xenarchaeologist accidentally activated their sacred relic by sitting on it. They're not going to find out, Dex said firmly, because you're going to figure out how to turn it off, and I'm going to help you. Zara stared at him. You're not going to report this? Report what? As far as I know, you are never here. He moved closer, studying the way the artifact's energy seemed to dance around her. But first, we need to understand what we're dealing with. What else is it telling you? Zara closed her eyes, letting the alien consciousness wash through her mind. When she opened them again, they were bright with unshed tears, and something that might have been wonder. It's beautiful, Dex, and terrifying. And I think we're all in a lot more trouble than we realize. Dex-Torian's prospective ex-Torian had seen plenty of impossible things during his 15 years in the Galactic Security Corps. But watching a junior xenorchaeologist accidentally bond with a quantum resonance device while eating synthetic pasta definitely made the top 10 list. The artifact pulsed beneath Zara like a heartbeat made of light, and every instinct he'd developed as a former military operative was screaming at him to report this immediately. Instead, he found himself helping her to her feet. Can you walk? He asked, noting how her pupils had dilated to twice their normal size. The artifact's glow was fading, now that she wasn't in direct contact, but faint blue traceries still flickered beneath her skin. I think so. Zara took a tentative step, then another. It's still there, though, in my head. Like having a really polite roommate who speaks in cosmic philosophy. She paused, tilting her head as if listening to something. It says you're conflicted. About protocol versus pragmatism. Dex felt his blood run cold. Mind-reading was exactly the kind of complication that could get them both shipped off to a research facility on some frozen moon. What else can it you sense? Your heart rate just spiked. You're thinking about Lieutenant Morrison on Kepler Station, and how the military scientists turned him into a vegetable after he touched that vegan memory crystal. Zara's eyes widened with horror. Oh, God, that's what they'll do to me, isn't it? Not if they don't know about it. Dex moved to the storage terminal, his fingers flying over the access logs. The artifact's quantum signature was already fluctuating when you arrived. As far as the computer knows, it's been experiencing minor resonance variations all week. You're falsifying the records? I'm adjusting the timeline to reflect equipment malfunction rather than operator error. He glanced at her. Unless you'd prefer to explain to Commander Voss how you accidentally absorbed a priceless alien relic while looking for a quiet lunch spot? Zara shuddered. Point taken. But what happens when the Helix Coalition arrives? They're going to want to examine their sacred whatever this is. We cross that bridge when we reach it. Dex sealed the terminal and turned back to her. Right now, we need to understand what we're dealing with. How much control do you have over these new abilities? Control? Zara laughed shakily. I accidentally eavesdropped on Chief Engineer Kowalski's grocery list when I passed him in the corridor. Apparently, he's out of coffee and existentially worried about the state of his love life. Can you turn it off? I'm trying, but it's like asking someone to stop hearing. The thoughts are just there. She pressed her palms against her temples. And it's getting stronger. I can sense other crew members throughout the ship now. Their emotions, their surface thoughts. Dex felt a chill that had nothing to do with the climate control. How many others? All of them. Zara's voice was barely a whisper. Every single person on this ship. And Dex, some of them aren't human. The implications hit him like a cold slap. The Constellation's Edge was supposed to be running a routine archaeological survey. But if Zara was picking up non-human consciousness, where? He asked tersely. Zara closed her eyes, her face scrunching with concentration. Beck 7, Section C3 beings, definitely not human. They single quotes excited about something. And scared. Her eyes snapped open. They know about the artifact. They're here for it. Dex's hand moved instinctively to his sidearm. Stowaways? I don't think so. They feel ... official, like they have every right to be here. Zara grabbed his arm, and the contact sent a jolt of shared sensation through both of them. For a moment, Dex could feel what she felt, the overwhelming press of alien minds, the artifact's consciousness weaving through it all like a golden thread. Jesus, he breathed. It's not just bonding with me, Zara whispered. It's using me as a conduit. Every person I touch, every mind I read, it's creating connections. Building something. Building what? Before she could answer, the ship's intercom crackled to life. All senior staff to the bridge immediately. We have unexpected visitors. Dex and Zara exchanged glances. Through the artifact's enhanced connection, he could feel her fear, her determination, and underneath it all, the ancient device's patient satisfaction. Too late for damage control, he muttered. What do we do now? Dex checked his weapon and headed for the door. Now we find out just how good we are at improvising. Ambassador Kido Grimm's prospective ambassador Kido Grimm had negotiated treaties with 17 different species, survived 3 assassination attempts, and once talked a Centauran war fleet out of glassing a mining colony over a parking dispute. But nothing in his 40 years of diplomatic service had prepared him for the sight of 3 Helix Coalition vessels materializing out of quantum fold space directly in front of the constellation's edge. They're not responding to standard hails, Lieutenant Chun reported from the communication station, her voice tight with barely controlled panic. Keep trying, Commander Voss ordered, her knuckles white as she gripped the arm of her command. Chair. Ambassador, any idea why our archaeological survey might have attracted the attention of the Coalition's military? Kido studied the tactical display, noting the sleek, predatory lines of the Coalition ships. Each vessel was easily twice the size of their research ship, and their weapon signatures suggested they weren't here for a social call. The Helix Coalition doesn't deploy military assets without significant provocation. We must have something they want. Sir, the sensor operator called out. I'm reading massive quantum resonance spikes from our artifact storage bay. Whatever's causing it, it's interfering with our navigation systems. Kido felt his stomach drop. Quantum resonance was the signature of only one type of artifact, the kind that civilizations went to war over. Commander, I need to inspect our archaeological collection immediately. Belay that, a new voice said from the bridge entrance. Chief Torian stepped through the doors, his expression grim. We have a bigger problem. Explain, Voss snapped. One of our artifacts has been accidentally activated. It's bonded with a crew member. The bridge fell silent except for the hum of ship systems and the ominous pulse of the Coalition vessel's engines. Kido felt the familiar weight of impending diplomatic catastrophe settling on his shoulders. Which artifact? He asked, though he was afraid he already knew. Quantum resonance device. Helix Coalition origin. And before you ask, the crew member in question is experiencing significant neurological integration. Commander Voss closed her eyes. How significant? Telepathic contact with multiple species, enhanced empathic abilities, and what appears to be real-time access to the artifact's original programming. Dear God, Kido breathed, you're talking about the Unity engine. Every head on the bridge turned toward him. Kido straightened his diplomatic uniform and prepared to deliver news that would probably get them all killed. The Unity engine is one of the Helix Coalition's most sacred relics. According to their mythology, it was created by the first builders to bridge the consciousness gap between species. The Coalition has been searching for it for over 3 centuries. And now it's attached to one of our people, Voss said flatly. Not attached, integrated. Quito pulled up historical files on his personal datapad. The legends say the engine chooses its host, someone capable of carrying the consciousness of multiple species simultaneously. If it's truly bonded with a crew. Member... He was interrupted by a sudden wave of dizziness that swept across the bridge. For a moment, Quito could have sworn he felt other minds touching his curious, frightened, hopeful. The sensation lasted only seconds, but it left him gasping. Was that ... Lieutenant Chun started. The artifact's expanding its influence, Torian confirmed grimly. It's using its host as a broadcast station. The communications panel suddenly blazed to life. The view screen filled with the image of a tall, elegant being with iridescent skin and eyes like liquid mercury. When it spoke, its voice carried the weight of ancient authority. Vessel of the Human Federation, you carry something that belongs to us. Return the Unity engine and its chosen host, and we will allow you to depart in peace. Quito stepped forward, falling into his most diplomatic posture. Honored representative of the Helix Coalition, I am Ambassador Quito Grimm. We were unaware that any of our archaeological specimens belong to your people. If there has been a misunderstanding, there is no misunderstanding, Ambassador. The engine has awakened. Its song calls to us across the void. The being's expression hardened. You have 1 hour to prepare the host for transfer. Resistance will be unfortunate. The transmission cut off, leaving the bridge in tense silence. Options? Commander Voss asked. Quito felt the weight of impossible choices pressing down on him. In 1 hour, they would have to choose between sacrificing a crew member to an alien species or facing the military might of the Helix Coalition. There might be another way, he said slowly. If the artifact truly has chosen its host, then according to Coalition law, the bonding is sacred. They can't simply take the host, they have to accept them as a member of their society. And if they refuse? Quito looked at the Coalition vessels on the tactical display, their weapons charging for what would certainly be a very short battle. Then we find out how good our life pods are. Dr. Finn Blackwater's perspective DR. Finn Blackwater had seen some unusual medical cases during his career aboard research vessels, but the young woman sitting on his examination table definitely represented a new personal record. Zara Nightwind's vital signs were all over the map neural activity, spiking into ranges that should have resulted in immediate seizure. Cellular regeneration accelerated by approximately 300%, and quantum field fluctuations that made his instruments whine in electronic distress. How are you feeling? He asked, trying to keep his voice professionally calm, while his scanner readings suggested she was either evolving into a higher life form or about to explode. Like I accidentally plugged my brain into the ship's main computer while it was downloading the entire galactic internet, Zara replied, wincing as another wave of sensation coursed through her. Also, you're worried about the cellular degradation patterns, but you shouldn't be. The artifact is repairing the damage as fast as it occurs. Finn paused in his examination. I haven't mentioned cellular degradation. You were thinking about it very loudly. Zara's eyes, which had developed an unsettling golden flicker, focused on something beyond the medical bay walls. 3 decks. Up, Ambassador Grimm is having what you might call a diplomatic anxiety attack. Commander Voss is considering whether to surrender me to the Coalition or try to run. And Chief Torian is researching escape pod protocols. Can you turn it off? Finn asked, genuinely curious. From a medical standpoint, what was happening to her should have been impossible. The human brain simply wasn't designed to process multiple consciousness streams simultaneously. That's like asking if I can turn off my heartbeat. Zara shifted uncomfortably on the examination table. But it's not just passive reception anymore, Dr. Blackwater. The artifact is using my neural pathways to actively connect with other minds. It's building something. Finn's scanner beeped urgently, and he frowned at the readings. Your brain chemistry is completely rewriting itself. New neural pathways are forming faster than I can map them. At this rate, you'll have an entirely different neurological structure within hours. Different how? I'm not sure. The patterns are unlike anything in medical literature. He paused, studying a particularly unusual reading. Zara, I need to ask you something, and I want you to answer honestly. Are you still you? She was quiet for a long moment, and when she spoke, her voice carried an odd harmonic quality. I'm still me, but I'm also more than me. The artifact isn't taking over, it's expanding me, giving me the capacity to understand things that human consciousness normally can't process. Such as, the Helix Coalition isn't here to reclaim stolen property. They're here because they're terrified. Zara's golden-flecked eyes met his. The Unity engine was never meant to be kept in storage. Dr. Blackwater. It was designed to create bridges between species, to find individuals capable of carrying multiple forms of consciousness simultaneously. The Coalition has been waiting centuries for it to choose a host. Finn felt a chill run down his spine. Choose a host for what? To evolve. To become something new. Zara stood up from the examination table, and Finn noticed that she moved with a fluid grace that hadn't been there before. The galaxy is full of species that can barely communicate with each other, let alone cooperate. Wars break out over misunderstandings. Entire civilizations destroy themselves because they can't bridge the gap between different forms of consciousness. And the artifact is supposed to fix that? Not fix, transform. Zara walked to the viewport, gazing out at the Coalition ships. It's designed to create individuals who can truly understand multiple species, not just intellectually, but on a fundamental consciousness level. Living bridges between different forms of awareness. Finn's medical training warred with the evidence. Before his eyes, the human brain can't handle that kind of expansion. The neural load alone should have killed you. The human brain can't handle it, Zara agreed. But I'm not entirely human anymore. She turned back to him, and for a moment, Finn could have sworn he saw something vast and ancient looking out through her eyes. The question is, are you going to help me figure out what I'm becoming? Or are you going to recommend that they cut this thing out of me before it kills me? Before Finn could answer, the ship's emergency klaxons began wailing. The intercom crackled. To life with Commander Voss's voice. All hands to emergency stations. Coalition vessels are powering weapons. This is not a drill. Zara closed her eyes, and Finn watched her neural activity spike off his charts. They're not going to fire. She said quietly, they're too afraid of damaging the artifact. But there are more ships coming. A lot more. How many more? 17 species worth. Zara opened her eyes, and they were now more gold than brown. Word is spreading through the quantum networks. Everyone wants to either claim the Unity engine or destroy it before it can complete its purpose. Finn felt the bottom drop out of his stomach, which is creating the first of a new kind of being, one that can hold the consciousness of every species in the galaxy. Zara smiled, and it was beautiful and terrifying. Congratulations, Dr. Blackwater. You're about to witness the next step in galactic evolution. Outside the viewport, space began to shimmer with the arrival of more ships than Finn had ever seen in one place. And at the center of it all, a young Zen archaeologist who had accidentally sat on the most important artifact in the galaxy was preparing to either save civilization or destroy it. Captain Nix Stormhaven's perspective. Captain Nix. Stormhaven had commanded the research vessel Constellation's Edge for 8 years, and in that time she'd navigated political crises, first contact scenarios, and the occasional cosmic anomaly that threatened to unravel reality. But standing on her bridge, watching 17 different alien fleets converge on her position while her junior xenoarchaeologist underwent spontaneous evolutionary transformation, definitely qualified as a career first. Tactical report, she ordered, though she already knew the numbers weren't good. 43 vessels and counting, Lieutenant Chun replied, her voice steady despite the impossible odds. Helix Coalition, Andromedan Empire, Centaurian Federation, plus at least 12 species I can't immediately identify. Total firepower estimates suggest they could reduce us to cosmic dust in approximately, well, instantly. Reassuring. Nix turned to Ambassador Grimm, who was frantically scrolling through diplomatic protocols on his datapad. Options? Traditionally, when facing overwhelming force, diplomacy suggests either immediate surrender or negotiating a face-saving retreat. Grimm looked up from his research. Unfortunately, neither option applies when you're harboring what appears to be the galaxy's most coveted artifact. Captain, Dr. Blackwater's voice crackled over the intercom from the medical bay. You need to see this. The medical bay had been transformed into something that belonged more in a science fiction novel than aboard a research vessel. Quantum energy patterns danced along the walls, and at the center of it all, Zara Nightwind stood with her arms outstretched, her eyes closed in concentration. Her skin had taken on a subtle luminescent quality, and when she breathed, faint geometric. Patterns flickered across her features. Is she? Nix began. Stable, remarkably, Dr. Blackwater reported, checking his instruments. But she's not entirely human anymore. The artifact has integrated completely with her nervous system. She's become something new. Zara opened her eyes, and Nix felt a brief moment of vertigo as an alien consciousness touched the edges of her mind. Captain Stormhaven, Zara said, her voice carrying harmonics that seemed to resonate in dimensions beyond normal hearing. I can feel them all. Every ship, every species. Their fear, their desperation, their hope. What do they want? Nix asked. The same thing they've always wanted. Understanding, connection, an end to the isolation that keeps them fighting wars over misunderstandings. Zara stepped forward, and reality seemed to shimmer around her. The Unity engine wasn't designed to be a weapon or a tool of control. It was meant to create individuals who could serve as living bridges between species translators, not just of language, but of consciousness itself. And you're the first? I'm the prototype. Zara smiled, and for a moment she looked like the enthusiastic young archaeologist who'd accidentally started this crisis. But I don't have to be the last. The artifact can replicate the process, create others like me, individuals who can truly understand multiple forms of consciousness, who can help species communicate on a level that transcends words. The bridge intercom crackled. Captain, incoming transmission from the Coalition Fleet Commander. On screen, a view screen filled with the image of a being that looked like it had been carved from living starlight. When it spoke, its voice carried the weight of eons. Human vessel, you harbor the chosen one. The Unity engine has awakened and selected its first bridge builder. This is a moment of cosmic significance. Honored representative, Nix replied, falling back on diplomatic protocol. Our crew member underwent this transformation accidentally. She had no knowledge of the artifact's true nature. Accidents are how the universe expresses its will. The being replied, the chosen one must come with us. She belongs with her new people now. With respect, Zara's voice carried clearly across the comm channel. I belong wherever I choose to belong, and I choose to stay with the crew that has shown me nothing but support during this transformation. The Coalition commander's expression shifted, surprise flickering across features that seemed to be made of condensed nebula. You would refuse your destiny? I would define my own destiny. Zara stepped into view of the main screen, and every alien fleet received their first clear look at what they had come to claim. The Unity engine doesn't want to create servants or weapons. It wants to create bridges. Individuals who can help species understand each other. Then come with us. We will teach you to use your gifts properly. Or, Zara said quietly, I could stay here and teach others. The transformation process isn't unique to me. With proper safeguards and willing volunteers, the Unity engine could create a new generation of consciousness bridges. Individuals trained in diplomacy, xenobiology, and interspecies communication. Nix felt her breath catch. You're talking about intentionally replicating what happened to you. I'm talking about evolution, Captain. Not forced, not controlled, but chosen. Zara turned to address the assembled fleet. Any species that wants to participate can volunteer candidates. We establish a neutral facility where the process can be studied and refined. Within a generation, we could have bridge builders integrated into every major civilization. The communication channels exploded with chatter as 17 different species began debating the implications. Nix watched the tactical display as weapons powered down and defensive formations shifted into something that looked almost like a conference arrangement. You realize, she said quietly to Zara, you're proposing to change the fundamental nature of galactic civilization. I'm proposing to help it grow up. Zara's golden eyes met hers. The question is, are you willing to captain the ship that makes it happen? Nix looked at her crew at Dex, who'd chosen loyalty over protocol. At Dr. Blackwater, whose medical expertise would be crucial for safely replicating the transformation. At Ambassador Grimm, whose diplomatic skills would be essential for navigating the political complexities ahead. Set course for the neutral space station at Kepler's Junction, she ordered. It looks like we're about to make history. Outside the viewport, 43 alien vessels slowly began forming an escort formation around the small research ship that had accidentally become the catalyst for the next phase of galactic evolution. And at the center of it all, a young woman who had sat on the wrong chair during lunch break smiled at the endless possibilities stretching out before them. The diplomatic crisis was over. The real adventure was just beginning.